common problem with a compost bin, especially this model, is that it can get a little smelly. Now that's because there might be something wrong. So let's have a look at some of the basics. One, it could mean that it's too wet. So to solve that problem, add some dry stuff, which is the brown side of the diet for your compost bin. So it could be dry leaves, it could be the good old toilet roll cardboard, egg carton, all those sorts of things will absorb that extra moisture. Your shredded paper, straw, anything you can possibly think of. The other problem might be that because of that extra moisture, it's become compacted. So you need to add some air into your system. It can be as simple as grabbing something like this little fence post, whacking that in there, and you'll punch air holes down into your compost system. This can also be done with the garden fork. So you can get in there with your garden fork, poke it in and turn it as much as possible. Now, if you're not quite up to the workout that these boys give you, there is a simpler solution to get air into your compost bin, especially this model, is this boy here. He's known as a piece of ag pipe. You can use PVC piping, but this guy already has holes in him. So you set him in the middle of your compost bin, a little bit lower than your lid, so that you've got your lid over the top, and air will flow down through the core and out through the holes. So it allows nice airflow through your compost bin. Another problem could be acidity, right? That doesn't smell very good at all. Some people find it really hard to listen to nature, so a way to find out what she's saying is with one of these guys. A soil pH test kit will tell you what nature is doing in there. So a way to even that out is by adding something like your garden lime. A natural way of doing it is crushed up eggshells, and that will balance your pH back out again. But that test kit will help guide you through that. If you aerate, but suck up that extra moisture, you won't have a smelly compost bin. It'll go from a stinky swamp to a beautiful rainforest floor, and that's what you want. Another common problem with the compost bin is that you might have critters trying to make this their home. Cockroaches, mice and rats could make this their little habitat. There could be two reasons. They're looking for somewhere to live, or they're after a certain food source. Solution: rough things up so this isn't a habitat that they want to be their home. That's where your aeration comes in. So keep working your compost, aerating it. You can simply be sticking the fork in there and that'll disturb their habitat and they won't want to live in there. Your other problem is that you might be putting a food source in there that they're attracted to. So don't add any meat, dairy, or even any cooked or sweet things. So that means like bread and biscuits and pasta. If you put those sorts of things in there, you'll attract the pests to the system. So keep it nice and simple. There are critters that you want in there. This is a living ecosystem. But these guys will come in and they'll become pests. So to keep mice, rats and cockroaches out of your system, rough it up and disturb their habitat, and don't put any food in there that's going to attract them, like your meat and your dairy products. If you open your compost bin and a whole heap of little vinegar flies come flying out, they could be fruit fly or vinegar fly. The reason they're in your compost bin is because there's exposed fruit and exposed veg. Problem solved? Add some brown material. So every time you add a layer of green, add a layer of brown. That's a good rule of thumb and it will stop this problem. So your shredded paper, your dry leaves, anything, even a shovel of dirt if you don't have anything else, to cover that fruit and veg, and you'll stop those little vinegar flies from flying up your nose. Another issue might be that your compost bin is a little bit slow, so you've got to get the girl up and running. So that could mean there's not enough sun to get enough heat. It could mean that it's dry and not got enough moisture, so you add some of those nitrogen-rich things. It could also mean that there's not enough air, so you need to aerate it to get it going. So here we go. Here's your compost bin. It might be a bit slow. Check that there's enough sun getting on this. You need as much sun as possible with these little systems. That gets that heat and gets it working a lot faster. There might also be a lot of dry material in there, so add some more greens. If you don't have fruit and veg, look into your green grass that you've just cut off the lawn. That can help also. Also, don't forget, aeration. You've got to get air down in there to get your compost bin active and going. And finally, if all else fails, get your activators in. Activators can be things like your horse manure, cow manure, goat manure, whatever you've got floating around. Just remember, no dog poo or cat poo in here. Other activators can be things like comfrey, yarrow, arrowroot. They're all fantastic activators. There's your horse poo. Don't forget to make sure that's aged horse poo. You don't want any chemicals going in there from the worming mixture. And if you've got all those things just right, your compost bin should be working quite rapidly. You can get compost in 6 weeks if this is working at its optimum. With temperature, moisture and air, they're the main things to look for when your compost bin is working a bit slow for you.